Hello, everyone. It has been a hot minute. I am so excited to be here, to be chatting again. It's probably been the busiest life of my entire summer, but I'm grateful for all of the changes happening in my life, happening for my loved ones, and happening in this world. I mean, have you all been feeling it? This world is shifting so fast. I don't really know the direction that this video is going to go. I was just guided after some readings this morning to hop on because people are really in a state of, I want to call it calmness. I know it doesn't feel calm, but it's slowed down in regards to now what? People are asking, okay, now what? And now what? And now what should I do? And now what's going to happen? Even though that might seem like that might keep our brains really fast forwarding and playing out future scenarios, what's actually happening that we're supposed to be working alongside with rather than fighting against is curiosity, being just curious about everything happening internally for you and everything happening externally for the collective. Why that's happening is because we're all, whether we like it or not, or we're trying to or not, is we're tapping into that unity perspective of the heart, of working with emotions and images, rather than logic and understanding and words or thoughts. And so you'll feel, if you're working with your brain right now more so than your heart, way more than you ever have in the past. If you are overthinking situations right now, or you're playing out future scenarios, or you're trying to logically navigate something in your life right now, you're going to feel more anxiety than you've probably ever felt before. You're going to feel more tired than you've ever felt before. Your heart and your body right now is trying to show you, and it's magnifying for you right now more than it ever has before, what your thoughts are doing to you. That doesn't mean it's good or bad, or that's anything scary. It's not. It's just what's happening. And so I just want to be here to validate for people. Be very curious about the thoughts that you're thinking right now, or the situations that you're playing out in your head, whether it be for the collective or for your personal life. You're going to be mentally or you're going to be emotionally and physically affected by your thoughts right now, more than you have in the past. Does that make sense? So if you've been feeling that, please comment below, because I'm super curious if everyone's kind of going in line with the information that's been coming through. I know I have. You're probably also experiencing emotions that you've probably never felt before, or they're magnified. So don't be hard on yourself. First thing right now is, please don't be hard on yourself for whatever you're feeling, whatever emotions are kind of like stuck inside of you, whether it's you're more anxious than usual, you're more fearful than usual, or if you're happier than usual. You don't have to feel guilty for being happy either. I know everything looks like shit around us right now, but you're not meant to feel like shit with it. Does that make sense? Like, don't feel guilty for not being pulled down by this collective right now. So, okay, so they're saying, so you really want to be vulnerable right now. So curious first, like, what am I thinking about? What are my thoughts doing to my emotional and physical body? And how can I be more vulnerable? What that means is, it doesn't mean to be weaker. It doesn't mean to be susceptible to people saying things to you or to things happening to you. It actually means what we're being asked to right now is to be vulnerable by choosing to be stronger than we've ever freaking been before, by choosing to be more confident than we've ever been before, by choosing to set boundaries stronger than we've ever set before. That's what vulnerability is right now. Vulnerability isn't being weak and just laying down and letting life happen to you. It's doing something with your life and allowing the situation to play out because you knew that you took the first step. You made a choice in your life, and then you're going to allow that universe, that intuitive guidance that's guiding all of us right now, the natural flow of what's happening in this collective, to take your choice and to do something with it. We need to stop getting in our own ways. We need to stop trying to control the future. We need to stop trying to control other people. I saw this video of this man speaking about the difference between control and care, and it's stuck with me so strongly. He was speaking about care is when you speak your opinion, you speak your boundaries, you speak to yourself or to someone else from the heart and from the base or intention of care. You sincerely and unconditionally have care or love for yourself or for people around you. And so whatever knowledge you share with someone, you're not trying to switch their perspectives. You're not trying to change anything. You're just sharing information if it feels good to share, or you're holding back and you might be staying silent if it feels good to be silent at that moment, because all you have is this care for the knowledge that you're sharing or for the situations that you're a part of. And then there's control, which is the exact same scenario happening. You're sharing this knowledge with someone or your perspective, but you have the intention of control rather than care, which means you need to control the outcome of what happens when you share this information. You need to change that person's perspective. You need to prove to yourself that the decision that you made is okay, because if someone else makes it too, because I controlled that person to make that same decision, then I'm going to be okay. It's a very low vibrating ego way of going on in this world. And that's happening a lot right now. You're really seeing who's coming at situations with the intention of care and who's coming at the situations with the intention of control. There's no right or wrong, but you can also immediately feel which one feels more expanded and loving and accepting rather than contracted and just suffocating. So back to vulnerability without all the triggers. Vulnerability is key right now. Again, it doesn't mean being weak. It means being vulnerable with caring about yourself, being vulnerable with making new decisions you may have never made before, being vulnerable with stepping into your true power, your true choices that you want to live by, that not one other person has told you to live by. What feels good for you? Stop listening to outside sources right now. We are all releasing from codependent attachments. We're releasing from the need to have outside validation before we can make a decision. What's going to happen for a lot of souls who are watching this video, like myself, is we're going to be, you could call it, tested on how well we're working with releasing codependent attachments or working with our vulnerability of our hearts. We're going to be tested by those closest to us, kind of polarizing our vulnerability or our thoughts right now. It's easier said than done, but it's easier when kind of a stranger or someone you kind of know, an acquaintance or a coworker, is kind of going against your own thoughts or is kind of polarized with you. It's easier to handle that situation. It might still hurt. It might still be this big growth curve you go through. But what we're all going through right now, that's kind of this quantum leap, this fast track to this unity that this collective is stepping into, is those closest to us are going to be polarizing against us. So it's going to be extra triggering, basically. This doesn't mean this is a warning or that you have to be scared. It's probably already happening. Those closest to us are going to have their opinions, and you're going to see if they're coming at it from control or care. This is going to require a lot of compassion from you because you love that soul. So they're showing you right now from this situation that you love this soul. So you already have the compassion. The compassion isn't just going to go away. You might think it will. The brain can get rid of compassion. The heart will never get rid of compassion. That compassion is always there. It has never gone anywhere. It's never been harmed. It's never been taken away. It's just you got to let that part of you speak louder right now when those closest to you are coming at you. Pull up that compassion and look at them with care and set those boundaries. If you feel like you need to speak out loud from a caring perspective and say, okay, I hear you. I see you. I'm choosing not to match your choices at this moment, but I still love you and thank you for your opinion, versus screw you, how dare you tell me what to do? You actually should do this. Do you even know what this is doing to you? Like, do you feel the difference there? It's the same situation, but it's the base intention, the base emotion of how you handle situations right now. That is so, so important because it's going to be happening with those closest to you. If it all hasn't already started happening. It's just the game of life, people. I know that looks like the world's ending. The world's not ending. Unfortunately and fortunately, humans have chosen to ascend by learning through pain and through terror. That's just what we've chosen. That's the only thing that gets our attention right now. And what people like us are doing, light workers, grid workers, all of us, working with our higher intelligence that every soul on this planet has, those that are consciously working alongside the natural flow of what's happening, we are choosing to be okay with learning about love through love, with working with our strengths and not hitting rock bottom before we choose to make a difference, before we choose to go about life in a different way. Does that make sense? Like, you don't have to hit rock bottom. You don't have to learn through pain. You don't have to learn through fear. You can. You have free will. And we are proving as a collective that, oh, it might be easier to learn through pain and to learn through people dying around us and to learn through torture and slavery to make a difference. But how about instead of that, instead of coming at it from the base of control, we come at it from the base of care and compassion and love and saying, hey, just because the fact that there's compassion and care in the first place inside of me and in this world means that we can just change because we want to have more love and more compassion. We don't have to have more fear in order to find the compassion. It's just very interesting to see how people are going about these life choices right now. There's no judgment. It's going to be a lot easier to work with the natural flow of this universal shift right now if you come at it from a base intention of care and compassion and unity. And what's going to help you with that, and this has been coming up in multiple readings, and so I wanted to share that as well, is find something in your life right now, just watching this video, whether it be a pet or a loved one that you unconditionally love, or it's nature, or it's an object, it doesn't matter. Something that brings out this unconditional love, that you love that person, that object, whatever it is, unconditionally, and it's not even giving you anything back. It doesn't have to give you anything back or any outside validation or approval for you to still love it. Does that make sense? So that's going to help you find and become familiar and match that energy and frequency inside of you of what unconditional compassion actually is. People really use their brains to think, I love this, but they're not feeling it. Stop using your brains. I'm sorry. I love the brain, but it's not supposed to be controlling everything. It's just supposed to be this tool that we use to logically get through information that our hearts are telling us. It's not supposed to be the end all be all, God right now. Our brains are how we're seeing that our brains are in control right now is this polarized world. The brain works with the right and left hemisphere. It's polarized. It works with me versus you, this versus that, I'm better than this. It's doing its job, and it's manifesting and showing us in this collective right now that we're all inside of our brains. Unity, the heart, does not work with logic. It only works with one thing. It does not work with polarity, and it works with images and emotions. And so when you feel an emotion, you feel compassion rather than think about compassion. Do not even put the words compassion or gratitude or love inside of your brain. Put it in your heart, which means feel it. Do not think about it. Do not even, I wish there was better words for it, because there isn't words for this. It's an emotion. It's something that you feel. You have to authentically feel compassion. And how you feel it, again, is by looking at something in your life right now that you have that unconditional love already for. Because then you can match that, remember it on it's a cellular remembrance. What we're doing is we're creating new neurological pathways physically inside of our DNA strands. And so when you match that compassion and you start looking at everything, so I look at my dog, I feel this compassion. Then I look at a shitty situation happening in the collective or an angry person at the grocery store, but then I pull up that compassion that I know is inside of me and is still there. and I look at the situation with that feeling inside of me, it changes everything. It will either quiet me if I'm meant to not speak up in that situation. It'll help me set stronger boundaries without that fear of, I can't do this, I don't know how to set boundaries, because all there is love. I just got full chills from that. Like, it lets the divine intuitive part of you, that higher version of that's always inside of you, it lets that version of you speak up. All you have to do is open the gateway. Like, we're our own gatekeepers. We set our own walls around ourselves, and how we can stop doing that is by holding that compassion frequency. It creates this expansion inside of ourselves so that this intuitive part of us can just come through and speak for us and do shit for us. Like, our one freaking job as humans is just to hold love and let everything else work how it's supposed to if you're holding that. Does that make sense? Like, that's our one job. Let the divine speak through you, but it can't speak through you if you're holding anger and resentment and frustration and anxiety and you're inside of your brain. It's not creating space or like stillness or silence. You need that part of you to just be like, breath of fresh air. I know that love's inside of me. I spread it to every cell of my body. And then I look at all situations while holding that vibration, and I just let that situation play out. If I'm meant to interject myself into the situation, I will, from a new base layer of compassion, because I'm not going to be polarized and I'm not going to be controlling. I'm going to be just coming from that care. So practice that right now. It's fun. It starts becoming the game of life, because and just be gentle with yourself as you do it as well, because it's not an overnight thing. Maybe it is. It doesn't have to be this huge practice. It can also be a choice right now. Like, yeah, I'm going to look at everything like that now. As simple as that. It really is. Like, people also, what's hard with this new age community is people really try to get stuck in, you need to take this many months and then you can shift into this part of your ascension process, and then this consciousness will unlock. Like, yes, if you believe that, then yes, then yeah, it's going to take a long time for you to start working with your heart and with compassion. Or it doesn't have to, because every single thing on this planet is based off of belief structures. And if you believe that you can just choose something right now and just embody it now, embody love now, then it will freaking happen. Like, every cell of your body, you either believe something or you don't. If one cell of your body, like a little cell in your pinky fingernail, says, I'm actually want to be a bitch today, then you're not fully going to be embodied in that compassion. So every cell of your body, that's why it can take practice, people say, because it's your choice how fast you want to learn this lesson. It's your choice. There's no right or wrong. It's just we're in a free will world. But it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to learn through pain. You can choose to make this take 5 months and buy an $800 course that teaches you, like, you have limits until you have to unlock this certain part of you till you can unlock this part of you. And it's just like, I'm just over it. And it's hard. And it's like, I see myself in this spiritual community, and I see people and I'm a leader and I'm a businesswoman in regards to this world, but I don't want anyone out there to get trapped into the energy of, I'm not good enough yet, and I need to prove this before I can get this. It's like, you are already divine. You are already sovereign and whole and complete, and stop letting other people tell you that you're not. Whether that person has the best intentions or the worst intentions, it doesn't matter. All that freaking matters is what's already inside of you. Let it come out. Stop holding yourself like hostage. Just stop it. Like, you're going to feel a lot of energy right here. I was just with some of my girlfriends, and a lot of us last weekend in Arizona, and a lot of us were holding a lot of energy right here, and you physically will feel energy being pulled down, and you're going to get tired from that. And you know what happened is we all started sharing really deep information with each other, and just like girl talk in a way that just was so beautiful. And we were getting information off of our chest, and we were coming at it from love. Like, that's what getting stuff off your chest actually is stop holding this energy right here. Like, speak your truth, and then feel how light you are. Feel how much more energy you have. Like, it doesn't have to come from outside sources. You don't need to depend on anyone. Those little versions of ourselves when we were children, We put on this mask believing that we weren't good enough and that we could only receive love if we did A, B, and C. That love's always been there. That love can only come from the inside out, and then other people will match it. Like, yes, it would be ideal if everyone loved you unconditionally, but it's none of your business who loves you unconditionally or not. It's none of your business. You can't control that. All you can control is how much love you're holding inside of yourself and how much love you can bring out of yourself, and then just let the world play out around you. It is none of your business how people respond to you. It is none of your business how the situations play out. It's just your business of how much love can you keep expanding out. That's your one job, and just let the world work around you right now. That's not being naive. That's not being weak. That's not bypassing all of the shit going on in the world. Trust me, like, I see the stuff going on in the world. I'm not giving it the energy that it needs because those individuals have chosen to learn through pain and through fear and through terror. And it's heartbreaking, and I'm still sending so much love, but they've chosen that path, and it's none of my business to get in the way of it and to change their perspectives. It's just none of my business. That's getting in the way of a lot of karmic shit that you just don't need to deal with. Okay, sorry, little rant over. Thank you, higher self, for that. But it's a very interesting time in this world, and you can choose to look at it from care or from control, from love or from fear. Again, simplify things right now. Is this love or is this fear? Where am I coming at this situation from, and how can I be more forgiving of myself if I find that I'm coming at it from control or from fear? That's okay. You're human. We are human. We're kind of human, but we're human right now, okay? I'm still learning how to be human, and it's hard and it's weird, and we're in this together, but stop trying to polarize yourself from people. This isn't like a sports team, my team versus your team. We are all human. Even we all have hearts and brains, and we all breathe the same freaking air. So choose how you want to breathe your own air and just see what happens around you. It's none of your business to try to control others, to try to control the situation or how other people see you. Like, that's none of your business. But I promise you it will be a lot easier, a lot more enjoyable if you work with the natural flow of bringing that compassion up and out that's always been there. Become familiar with it again with something in your current life that you already have that for, and just practice looking at all situations from that energy. For me personally, it's kept me a lot quieter, which is interesting because I have a lot to say, but it's kept me just very observant, very present, very just curious, and not angry, not as triggered. I have more energy, and it's interesting because the more energy I have, the more I feel like I want to do, but I'm also just very content doing nothing right now. It's going to make you more clear about where you're going with your service, with your path, with your work, with your family and loved ones. It's all about gaining love, which will then bring the clarity and the abundance. It's just, you need a new base foundation if you're feeling yourself being very triggered. What's the energy that you're holding in regards to looking at your life right now? Simplify it, break it back down. What are you depending on from outside sources? And then just start fresh. Don't be scared if you realize your entire life might be pleasing other people or might be validating yourself from outside sources. That's a lot of when people start doing this practice, you're going to realize that your entire life might be kind of backwards right now, and that's okay. That's okay. You're not alone. We're all going through that right now, but be gentle with yourself and know that you have that power. You have that love inside of you to switch the scenarios of your own life, and then just start fresh. New beginnings are happening right now for everything, everyone, the entire collective, people. Like, it's supposed to be happening. Yes, you might feel like you're dying at times, but that is part of it. So just love yourself. Please find a practice. Please do a movement practice, a physical activity practice, physically moving your body, like weightlifting, getting stronger so that your cells have more room to expand, to let that divine knowing speak through you and can like do the heavy lifting for you, as well as like a comfort practice, like what makes you just feel, not think. Do not think about any of this. Feel, like, ask your body, ask your heart, like what makes you feel comfort? Is it in a warm bath? Is it a walk? Is it sitting on the beach or sitting in the woods? Or like, what is it? Getting your hands in dirt? Like, you don't have to like go on retreats or like run away to the woods to find contentment. Trust me, I'm very guilty of that. If I could, I would be a hermit up in a cave in the woods forever. But you can also be in the middle of busy New York City and still find that same level of contentment. Again, are you basing your life and comfort off of outside sources or off of inside sources? So start in. It's just a lot easier. It's always been there. And then if things are around you, you're going to realize how much around your life is already there to comfort you, and start using it. Yeah, I hope that all made sense. Thanks for listening. I miss you all so much. I'm intending to be back. We're going to see where they guide me, but I love you, and let me know how this goes. Let me know where you're all at with this crazy life right now, because just know that you're not alone. I love you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.